Hi, I'm Greg and this is Mad Gear, the show that likes to introduce you to some of the strange, weird and wonderful recording practices and instruments and gear for the modern day musician and producer. And on today's show we're going to be looking at this little fella again. It has proven to be one of my more popular videos, and why am I looking at this again when I did an unboxing a couple of weeks ago? Well, it would appear Behringer have been listening to their audience, their critiques and the people that like to moan. And Starsky, and I'm sure a couple of other people, did a YouTube video comparing this little fella with a sequential circuits Prophet VS and also the SCI Prophet VS plugin, and they managed to show quite a few discrepancies between this clone, and a lot of people were using clone in inverted speech marks, to a real one, kind of, I think, missing the point in a sense that it was a vector synthesizer, it used 4 waves, and it had an analog filter, which is kind of like the original Prophet VS. I mean, the SY22 by Yamaha did not even come with a filter, let alone an analog one. Why am I talking about this? Well, it is October the 20th today, and Behringer made a big announcement saying that they had listened to their audience and made some considerable updates to, or upgrades even, to the firmware. And this is what I'm going to be talking about today. Let's kind of have a look through. Does it sound any better? I can't say whether it's going to sound like a real one because I don't have one and I haven't had the time to set this up to compare with the SCI. But let's compare some of the functions. Do you think it's better? Do you think it's worse? Are you not asked? Anything that I kind of fail to answer, write in the comments beneath and I will do my best to respond. If there's anything I don't know, I will tell you, and well, I will ask for your input in the comments beneath, because you know, this is a bit of a community. First of all, I'm not going to be using any new patches. I'm just going to be using the pre-built patches that are within the machine. That way you can hear the differences with the features they've added rather than listening to a patch that I've created, because I want to kind of keep it as transparent as possible. Without further ado, the first thing that they've done is, if we press function and go to menu, press it a couple of times, they've done this oscillator engine, or as they've called it, their 3 oscillator modes. And this gives us modern, which I believe is like the original. They've done a modern bright, which I would say from listening to this is a bit brighter, like the title says, more in comparison to a real Prophet VS, although I never thought this one actually sounded anywhere near as dull as the one that Starsky had. So unless he had a dud unit, I'm not sure. So that has made it brighter, which when I play some chords, I think you'll hear definitely for yourself. And then finally, they brought in this vintage sound mode engine, which makes it more, certainly decreases the bit rate and decreases the sample frequency. There's a lot more noise, there's a lot more aliasing. It sounds pretty crunchy, to be honest. I quite like it so far. So that's the first thing. So let's have a listen. I'm not actually going to use this keyboard here because it's not that great. I'm going to actually use the noodler just to play some chords so you can kind of hear for yourself. So that's the vintage engine. Let's turn the filter up fully. So that was the modern one, which I think this was the original. We can definitely hear something brighter. And this is the vintage one. So let me just change the filter envelope amount. So, and also increase the release. Now, I think you'll agree that with the difference between modern bright and modern, it does sound like the modern's got a low pass filter on it. So there is definitely a more pronounced high frequency content in the modern, as long as you keep the filter fully open. Now, if I reduce the filter, there's certainly not much difference. Let's turn this up 3/4. Okay, now you're starting to notice a pronounced brightness. And that's the filter fully open. Well done, Behringer. You've obviously listened to people and you've given us basically 3 different sound characters, which I think is really good. Well done. I'm impressed with this so far. The next thing that they've done is, if we press function and go to menu again, we now can change our master tuning, and it can go 8 Hertz either flat or sharp. So from 432 up to 448. Now, I'll be honest and say that for the majority of the time, I just use this in concert pitch. So this aspect, it doesn't really do anything for me. It doesn't really make my life any better or not, but it's there if you want it. Another thing, now, please, if I'm wrong here, write it in the comments beneath, because I have been using this and the JT4000 because I got them pretty much at the same time, and I've kind of, things are blurring as in whether did this have this capability before or not, I can't remember. Now, I know the JT4000 only has 3 LFO waves, and I'm pretty sure that this only had 3 LFO waves, and this is what I can't remember. But if we go to LFO waves now, in the settings, we have triangle, square, sawtooth, ramp, and sample and hold. I think this is a new function, and the sample and hold for the filter really does make this a lot more just wilder in its capabilities. So that, I think, is a new feature. So let's play some. Yep, I feel this adds something to the original, but again, I could be wrong and they could have been there all along. I just can't remember. And I hope, Behringer, if you do get to see this video talking about the updates, can you please add these shapes to the JT4000, because they will just increase its usability and its capability. Now, another thing that they've done is they've introduced a new control change being control change number 47 to seamlessly manage the filter envelope amount. So this gives you a way of being able to obviously automate how much of the filter envelope is being added to the signal. So that's pretty cool. It's also added MIDI preset changes or program changes. So if you, in the old days, if you wanted to recall a patch for a live set or a track because you wanted to redo some parts, you can put that within your comments and your MIDI track and it's there. So that's good. Another thing, you can separate your program and your sequencer patches with your instrumental patches. Well, instrument patches. So that gives it a bit more flexibility. You're not stuck with a patch and a sequence together. You can alternate them. I be honest and say I don't really use the sequence so much. Most of the time when I'm using this, I've been using it with an external sequencer. So another thing, you've got this improved key number 16 sensitivity, enhanced sensitivity on key number 16 for greater consistency. I have no idea what that means. So if anybody does know, please write in the comments beneath, because I can't believe I'll be the only person going, what does that mean? So I don't think there is any more additional features, but considering this has only been available for 2 weeks, and to be fair, the only people that actually seem to be getting them without importing them from another country is the UK. So, you know, well done, Behringer. You're listening to what people are requesting, demanding, moaning about, and you're implementing it. So, but I'm going to play a few more patches. Let's see what they sound like. I wish that you could press the function like double tap it, so that way I can play a key on here and go through the different sound modes. At the moment, as things currently stand, if this is pressed and I press another, it just goes straight to that setting, which is annoying. So I'm going to have to play a sequence. Right, I'm going to just initialize this, and because that will bring up just a sawtooth wave, and let's go back to here. If people are wondering what this is, I break my thumb on a drum kit. That's how rock and roll I am. I hate drummers. So playing some of the lower notes with the filter wide open. you can really hear noise and artifacts with that vintage tone. That is just a brief overlook at the new functionality and sound manipulation controls that Behringer have introduced to their Pro VS. What do you think? Have they done a good job? Is it thumbs up, thumbs down, or meh? Write in the comments beneath, because it would appear Behringer are interested in what us people who buy this stuff are saying about their gear, and it would appear they do seem to act upon it pretty fast. But thank you very much for watching, and until the next time, see you then.